friend right here, Dan Bongino, former Secret Service agent, former New York City Police Department officer, and the host of the Renegade Republican.
Yeah, that's right.
Good morning to you, Dan.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
What do you think about that representative? Her name is Representative Dubois, and she's the one that warned on social media her constituents that ICE is going to be in the neighborhood. So if you're an illegal immigrant, stay inside.
Yeah, do you believe this story? I mean, is everything political now? I mean, including the safety of our cops. You know, I was a local cop with the NYPD and the Secret Service. Now, here's the disturbing part of this story. ICE prioritizes and triages their needs. They're not knocking on a door for a guy who had a parking ticket 5 or 6 years ago. They're going after the worst of the worst. These are people who are largely hardcore criminals. You have a state representative who took an oath to defend the best interests of the citizens of her state, who is now warning hardened criminals, hey, by the way, if you get a knock at the door today, that's the guys coming for you. So prepare your weapons now and hide all the contraband. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this goes to show the sorry state of politics in this country where she can get away with something.
Well, I mean, you saw the mayors have the same philosophy. Basically, this is the Post. I got the following information from my friend, she writes, and as we roll forward. In the Latin community, I have a message from the immigrant community of Brockton. Please be careful. On Wednesday, the 29th, that's yesterday, ICE will be in Brockton on that day. Then the sheriff saw that, and he sounded off yesterday.
But this is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard an elected official to do, completely undermining their oath and undermining law enforcement's efforts to keep the community safe. The Section 1324 clearly states anyone who knows someone to be in the country illegally and attempts to harbor or conceal them commits a felony under federal law up to 5 years per alien.
He says that these Sanctuary City officials should be charged with a crime.
Yeah, I don't disagree with them. And what's even more disturbing, you want to add a layer of insanity to this story, they're trying to raise money off of this thing for the state legislature.
She came back at that.
I mean, are they going to raise money? God forbid a cop is hurt for the kids to take care of the kids. I mean, this is a national disgrace, this story.
Well, last check, she hadn't raised anything.
Let me ask you, just before we move in the story, when you're a cop and you have a liberal politician in charge of a city, where's your interaction? Does a cop interact directly with ICE, or do they take their orders from the politician?
No, they interact directly with ICE. I mean, these legislators should have no effect on what the police officers there do. But sadly, I think with the current politicization of the immigration process, she may interject herself in there.
Well, and we just had the terrible story of Ray Tranchard, who lost his daughter 10 years ago today. A guy who was in this country illegally, had 2 DUIs, should have been deported.
I was watching that in the hallway. That was a horrifying story. I mean, really, when you both walked up, you saw me looking at the screen. I'm thinking, this poor father for the rest of his life. You know, and one thing about this story, right? People can say all they want. Well, you know, 98% of illegal immigrants won't go on to commit additional crimes in addition to being here illegally. But 100% shouldn't be here. That's the only number that matters.
Dan, what'd you think of the Drexel professor that tweeted this out? He was on a plane and he said, some guy gave up his first-class seat for a uniformed soldier. People are thanking him. I'm trying not to vomit or yell about Mosul.
Yeah, I'm trying not to vomit thinking about the environment in Drexel hiring this clown. You know, this is the kind of guy that, God forbid, a hot lead or bullet was to come in his way from enemy fire. You know, he would be the one screaming like a 4-year-old, running in the opposite direction, while brave men and women like the one who boarded that plane are protecting his sorry caboose. You know, it's guys like that that really are a total embarrassment to the country. I think we can... Yeah, I get it, it's a hot political environment, but we can all agree that this is an absolutely bipartisan issue, that our men and women in our military, they work for very little money, they put their butts on the line, they deserve bipartisan praise for the mission they do, keeping us all safe. This is totally uncalled for, and this should be shunned by both sides. There's no room for this kind of stuff.
Well, the thing is, he's still got a job, he's shown a tendency towards this behavior, and if you're a parent wondering between 2 schools, you're going to write a $70,000 check to send your kid to a university that has a professor like
probably get an award. I mean, there was a story on Fox last night about that professor who called Trump a terrorist who just got an award from the university. I mean, that's the sorry environment on our campuses now.
All right. Dan, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for dropping by.
Good to see you all again.
All right, great to see you.
Put her there.